what we'll do is we'll take a look through the front pages for you. And we'll kick off with the Financial Times because we're hearing there that the advisors to Donald Trump and Elon Musk are urging them to hug and make up, fearing their feud will hurt them both politically and commercially. And then the Mirror describes the two men as babies at war. And the Star reports that Mr. Musk will no longer allow NASA to use one of his SpaceX rockets just to ferry astronauts to the International Space Station. That's the latest line there. Away from that story, the Times leads on what it calls a squeeze on services to pump cash into the NHS in the next week's spending review. The Daily Mail leads with an investigation into illegal DIY weight loss injections being sold online, posing obviously serious health risks. And the Express reports the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch's description of the UK's asylum system as being mugged. And the Telegraph leads with concerns that fears about migrants are being classified as a form of terrorism under new Prevent guidance. And then finally, according to The Guardian, a defence advisor has warned Russia is at war with Britain and that the US is no longer a completely reliable ally. Well, as I said, Lettice was here to keep me company during this paper review.
Morning.
Morning. Great to see you. I wanted to kick off with the front page of the Daily Mirror. Have landed, Lettice, and their front page is babies at war.
I know, and this is obviously a very funny headline. You know, it's very easy for us to sort of sit back and sort of enjoy the theatre, get the popcorn out, but really what's happening can be quite serious, and there are serious knock-on effects. I mean, just last week, they were both in the Oval Office because Musk was leaving government. He was being handed a golden key by Trump, and they were talking about what great times they'd had in government and what an asset Musk had been. And now, just a week later, this has all exploded. There have been very, very serious allegations from Elon Musk that he's written on Twitter about links between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Obviously, none of that can be confirmed at this point. But Trump has also come out on the other side of that and said, now I had to get rid of Musk from government because he was wearing thin. Obviously, what this boils down to is there's this new bill that's coming out called the Big Beautiful Bill in the US. What it is essentially is there's going to be huge tax cuts going on, which are likely going to see a huge increase in the debt and deficit in the US. It could go either ways. But Musk is opposed to this bill. Trump is obviously very pro this bill and is trying to get it through. And that's what this has all fallen down about. But really, there's going to be no winners at the end of this. Trump has already threatened to remove billions of pounds of contracts from Musk. He'll be losing out. Musk must have all of his investors on the phone because on Thursday, when this was coming out, their stock was tumbling. I think it was around 14%. Tesla stock was going down. But also for Trump, this is having negative impacts. You know, having Musk very publicly speak out against him is likely going to see other Republicans also speak out maybe against the bill and have a confidence to step forward. Musk has also been talking about starting his own political party now. Whether that will come to any fruition, that could be a long way off. But again, when Trump was going through his election campaign earlier in the year, I mean, Musk put, I think, $300 million behind it. That was a huge amount of money. Musk is the richest man in the world. And really, people will have to decide whether they want to be putting their votes between the wealthiest man in the world or the most powerful man in the world. But it's a very serious argument that's been going on.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to quiet down anytime soon. I thought it was interesting, the poll that Elon Musk did on X, where he said, does America need an entirely new political party? And people voted and it was 80% yes.
Yeah.
And there is we talk about taking this seriously, but here in the UK, there is a third...
Exactly.
Well, there's 5 political parties, but the rise of reform has been very interesting to watch, and whether that opens up a conversation in the US.
Absolutely. And the rise of, even in the UK, the rise of smaller parties. We've seen even in the local elections, the Green Party doing significantly better, the Lib Dems doing significantly better. And I think that just feeds into this huge appetite for change that everyone has at the moment. Essentially, and looking at it from the UK perspective, I mean, Labour have been in for almost a year, but their popularity, despite winning that landslide election, is on the floor. Conservatives are barely making a cut through. I mean, there was that by-election that we just had up in Scotland. And Reform, they were the third party. And the Conservatives, they barely got 1,500 votes, whereas Reform were making that cut through. And I think there is that appetite for change that people are looking for. And we could see that being replicated under a new Elon Musk party in the US.
We'll have to see, won't we? Let's take us to the front page of your paper, the Daily Mail, expose the DIY fat jab dealers. This is extraordinary, really, isn't it? It's the rise in people using weight loss injections, but now there's a black market that seems to have opened.
Exactly. This is a sort of sad story in many ways, because what it is showing is how easy and accessible it is for people to be getting jabs which are marketed as weight loss jabs, but actually are nothing of the sort and can be very, very dangerous to humans to be taking. It also shows, again, that just people are sort of being exploited. It's preying on people's insecurities, whether that's the insecurity that they can't afford the jabs. The official market jabs in the UK, I think, are around £200 a month. A lot of these DIY fat jabs are coming in at just £20. So that's 90% off market rate, and people are trusting and believing in these things to go ahead. Or whether it's just your insecurity over how you look. We live in such a social media world where people are just, whether they're sort of AIing themselves, whether they're editing their photos on Instagram, whether they're celebrities getting loads and loads of different work done and then still marketing themselves as a sort of natural person. It makes lots of people feel insecure, especially younger people as well as older people. But yeah, so it's whether you don't fit into one of those weight categories. It is available on the NHS, but it's a very small amount of people who can get it on the NHS right now. But this story also speaks as well to issues with the regulations around this and how it's very much unregulated at the moment. Even companies like Facebook and Meta and Instagram, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, they say in their policy, you know, you cannot sell counterfeit pharmaceuticals through places like Facebook Marketplace, but the Mail here has found that they've been very easy to get them in these. But yeah, it's dangerous right now. I'm not sure what the solution could be, but maybe a government expansion into opening more wider into the NHS. I mean, a quarter of Brits are deemed obese on the NHS. So if these magical weight loss drugs are working, maybe that'll help take the pressure off the NHS.
Without a doubt, speak to your GP if there are concerns about wanting to use any kind of weight loss, but certainly online black market isn't the way forward. It's not safe. Just end on the Daily Express, very briefly, Lettice. Scottish bubbly. We'll raise a glass to that.
This is a great story, to be honest. The first ever bottle, I'm going to say, has been made of Scottish champagne, and it's been made in old potato. For a very long time. It was planted, the very first vines were planted back in 2016, and it is very small right now, but yeah, hopefully this will lead to bigger and better things in Scotland.
I'm all for that. Lettice, thanks for your company. We'll be back after a very short break.
Jubilation in the streets,